working. Otherwise, this won't work on a screen. I request you, because my throat is not well, if you can give me some warm water.
Warm water. Okay.
So that if it severe down, so I can take this.
Glass. Is it okay?
Oh, okay. Let us see.
Some.
Now it's not working. So whenever brighter will come, pointer won't work.
Yeah.
So do you have some that big green or yellow laser one?
We have slide changer, in that only it will come, I guess.
Yeah, it's there.
The
Like
same thing we
here
have.
it can
Yeah,
see,
it is.
but once
There,
it's white, it won't
it
come.
is LCD.
Although like I have little bit this one. Okay. Okay.
Else, can you share this PPT so that we'll start from there?
No. This is working here. Only pointer won't work there.
It has to come there. They were saying no.
Mhm.
If we give the PPT in pen drive, they'll operate from there. They were saying it will be easy.
Oh, okay.
Connection was the connection issue is there.
Okay. No, but it came now.
Came no?
It came here.
Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Just
So,
check.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the delay. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this Sharan Bashwa University to invite me here and give this opportunity to deliver a keynote talk. So today I'm going to talk about graph intelligence. So in computer science, graph has different place where, in most of the real world applications we are using graph, right? So we have seen many like breakthrough in AI, right from our foundational computer vision models, and then coming to the transformer models to almost solve all our problems through LLMs, and nowadays the ChatGPTs, everything is coming, but all those are mainly for the perception, right? So I'm going to talk about these three perceptions are either text, audio, visual. Whatever we perceive, we started modeling that in AI. But what is beyond perception? Intelligence is beyond perception, and that's it. That is the topic today we are going to discover. So let me say that world is a graph, not a grid. So we are not going to have a beautiful grid for the world. Rather than the things are entities, and they are interlinked with each other. And that graphs are representing the true knowledge, right? Almost in all the domain. Now you can see on the screen there is a globe, how the US airports are connected connected to the all other airports in the world, again a graph, right? There is almost all of you are using social media, right? So LinkedIn, Facebook, or Snapchat, or whatever it is, again, social networks are graphs, right? Now, coming to the another, the biology. So sometimes, as engineers, most of you are not liking biologists, and biologists don't like math. But truth is, again, the protein to protein interaction in biology is again a graph, and that need to be dealt with math, right? And how exactly those graph analytics and knowledge we are going to infer from that graph, again, that is a graph. Then we have a specialized class of graph called knowledge graph, how we can represent our knowledge into a heterogeneous environment, representing our knowledge into nodes, and how these nodes interact so that we can infer things later, right? Then again, coming to the chemistry, so molecules, atoms, and bonds, they are actually nodes and connections, again graph. So coming to the road, all of you are using nowadays the Google map to find out where we need to go, right? So places are nodes. We wanted to find out the links, roads are links. On that one, a shortest path we wanted to find out. Again, the entire geospatial data, that is the graph. So the entire world is graph. So that's why graphs are important, and they can gives you a additional benefit, which is like a relational modeling based learning of the data, or developing AI which is respecting the relations, right? So that's there. So we have in AI, computer vision, and other related domains where some sequence modeling we need to do. So convolutional neural network and recurrent neural networks, which nowadays actually progressed towards the transformers, they all are actually going to fail to understand this kind of data. So how we are going to model, and how previously the researchers are modeling, I'm going to talk a little bit on that one, right? So now, very simple understanding to a like beginning undergrad student, what is graph, right? If we are, then we all know there are nodes and there are connections or edges, right? Vertices and edges. So whenever we wanted to make a graph, so these two things minimum we need to define, right? So what is going to be the node? So let's say I wanted to say that you all are on social media, you are node, right? How many connections you have? So all those are your connecting through your friend request accepted. So they are nothing but your edges, right? So now you are connected to some nodes, and you are not connected to some nodes. So to whom you are connected, they are your friends, and friends tells very good information about you. All other social related analytics we can perform, how social you are, to whom you are interacting, what is your friend circle, right? Whether you are a student, or you are a group of engineers, you are a group of persons who are reading some of the news related to particular activities, or you are a group of students who are actually reading the or watching the videos on, let's say, machine learning or AI. So all those analytics I can do on that one. So I'm not going to be very deeper into the mathematical part, but rather than a set of nodes you need to define, and a set of edge. What is the meaning of connections between them, that we need to define, right? Now, maybe those who are CS undergrad, during their data structures, they were taught there are two ways of representations of graph. Right? One is called adjacency matrix. Right? So if there are n number of nodes, so we can maintain a n cross n matrix. And if particular node is connected to the another, we can say yes, there is one. Right? You can see there is a small matrix there. So wherever one means there is a connection. Those two nodes on from the rows and column, they are connected. Wherever there is a zero, they are not connected. Right? So that way you can model the graph. But this approach is very good for linear algebra libraries to perform the analytics, but not computational efficient. Now let's think a example. So how many users as of now on the Facebook? So that is a millions. So this matrix is going to be a million cross million. That much big matrix filled with zeros and ones. So how much memory, let's say you wanted to store that into your RAM, how much RAM it is going to require? So at least 1000 TB. But we don't have that much RAM, right? Even biggest supercomputers in the world, they don't have this much RAM, right? So how we are going to store? So there are fundamental flows. Another representation is there where we can simply maintain the adjacency list, because I know on the Facebook each person is not going to be connected with all other persons, rather than what is going to be the biggest number. So if I, let's say, ask you who has the highest number of friends on Facebook, so what is the number? Anyone? How many of you have more than 1000? So okay, so 1000 is a decent number. So mostly that matrix is going to be the sparse one. So whenever there is a sparse matrix, so we need to shift the strategy to adjacency list, right? So that is the common understanding of graph. But when we are talking about graph intelligence, this is not limited to only the nodes and edges. There are certain other things. So we can have the complete profiles of the nodes. So now let's say there is a particular uh, uh, professor teaching you. So there is a very simple graph. You can see A, B, C, D, E. These are nothing but your teachers, right? So each teacher has certain properties, certain features, certain characteristics, certain achievements. If I collect all of them, they are representing that particular teacher. Okay, so let's say if I ask, okay, how many papers he published? So 50 papers he published. How many patent he filed? 5 papers he filed, right? And what others? What is the citation per paper last year? That is, let's say, 3.5, right? How many courses he is teaching? How many PhD student he graduated? All those information is actually representing that particular instructor or teacher, right? So now we need to also define each node going to have certain characteristics or certain features, right? That their connection is not simply the connections, right? But let's say how many joint PhDs they graduated, how many joint projects they did, how many joint papers or patents they filed. Now, all those are actually the properties of their interconnections. So, even node can have additional features, edge can have additional features in the intelligence, right? Similarly, for social media, you can say that, okay, two people, if they are connected, that's not a just simply a 0 and 1. Rather than we can say that how many times they chat, how many times they went online, and how many times they shared photos. All those kind of information can be used as defining their relationship, right? So that way for this graph. So they are going to become more and more informative or more and more complex also, and we need to apply our intelligence onto that one. So now let's think about protein based graphs. So again, the proteins are nothing but that they are also some kind of chemical compounds, and there are some molecules, and if their distance is falling, then the certain angstrom in the space, we are saying that okay, they are having interactions, and that's we can represent through edges. And what is the complete profile of or the expression of our this protein, that we can say that this is nothing but the features of the nodes. So now you need to mind, we are talking about a graph where nodes are there, edges are there, node has certain properties and edge has certain properties. And let's say in the chemistry, if I am saying that there are two atoms of hydrogen and one for oxygen and they are interlinked, what about the pH of this graph? So we know that it's a neutral one. So even the entire graph later has certain properties. Same certain molecules mixed together, and at the end they are making the material maybe magnetic. Another chemical compound is making it acidic. Another is making it base. Another is called metal. Another is non-metal. Right? So when the interlink is there, new properties also emerge, and those all we are going to encode. Now, how we are going to represent that in memory? Because thinking about graph is very easy, but when it comes to the memory, then a proper data structure we need to store all of them. So let's say you can store all your nodes into a vector, all your edges into a list, and all your features as a matrix on the edge. Similarly, for the nodes features also, you can store separately as a matrix into your memory, right? So all these are the some how exactly you are going to mathematically treat all the graph, right? Now coming to the interesting part, how the intelligence or learning on the graph begins. If I give you two graphs, let's say there are given the top side one graph G1 and another graph G2, and your task is to tell me whether they are similar or not, right? So you can look onto them. If you can say that no, they are not similar, edges are different, okay, accepted. But how similar they are or how dissimilar they are, now that comes. Now when we are going plainly to the our this graph analytics, there is a one popular method called graph isomorphism. So graph isomorphism can tell you whether two graphs are similar or not, or if they are how similar they are, right? But this algorithm is a NP hard, and complexity is order of n factorial, right? So means not a practical at all. If I give you, let's say, even some of you guys, some 10, 20 out of you, and on your Facebook, how you are connected, and how you are connected on the LinkedIn, it will take many days to tell this part, whether these two groups are similar, or if similar, how similar, right? So we don't have that much time. How we can quickly tell how similar two graphs are? For that, it's not like today only we are talking about the graph intelligence. So long back from 1990, when Vichy Vapnik invented the support vector machine, which can compare the vector data and can tell a boundary between the different classes, like top of this hyperplane going to be one class, downside of this hyperplane going to be the another class, right? So then people started talking, can we do the same thing for the graph instances also? Rather than on vector data, can we work on the graph data? So how we are going to take the similarity of two graphs? Then the birth of graph kernels is there. So two graph kernels, so there are many examples downside there. So random walk graph kernels, or shortest pass graph kernels and deep graph kernels layer, or Westphaler-Lehmann graph kernels. All these kind of graph kernels came by different researchers, and they can tell you how similar these two graphs are, right? So for your understanding, there is a toy problem where you can say that with Westphaler-Lehmann graph kernels, how many nodes are there and how many times they are actually occurring. That is the one measure. So now you see there are two columns, last two columns in the matrix, which is telling how many times node 1 is appearing and how many times the node 2, 3, 4 are appearing into two different graphs, right? Once that is there, but that is simply counting the nodes. Now we did not mind the structure. Now let's start encoding the structure. In the downside, we are seeing how exactly each node is connected to the another one. So we can collect that information. We can give them the new names. So let's say how many times, how many such occurrences are there. One is connected to 4, or one is connected to 2, or 3 is connected to 2 and 4 and 5, right? So all these kind of connections we can start analyzing. Now we are actually encoding the interconnections into our this particular representation. Now we are counting their occurrence again. So downside the gray area, you can see that that is the second level of the Westphaler-Lehmann kernels, where we are seeing the interconnections. Can we further see the interconnections beyond this interconnections? So you can keep on going like that. Now what we did, so finally the graph data is converted into the vector data, and on this vector data we can apply a dot product and we can get our number. So I can measure like, so the similarity between these two graphs is 11. I can normalize that with their respective weights, and I will get a probability how likely these two graphs are interconnected, right? So from 2000 to 2020, graph kernels were the very much in research, and still when the data is limited, they are coming quite well. Downside, there is a libraries. If you guys wanted to use it into any of your project, when you wanted to compare two graphs, you can use it, and you can build your projects. Now coming, so even those data which we most of the times assume as a complete grid, even graph is applicable to those kind of data also. So now let's say there is a one example where we wanted to detect the anomaly in videos. Certain CCTV video is there, and there are some abnormal activities happening. So how we can discriminate the normal activity from the abnormal activity, right? So again, there are the certain persons, certain objects, they are nodes, and how they are interacting with each other, that is nothing but the graph, right? So then on top of that one, just now we see through graph kernels how we can tell what is the similarity. But additionally, not only like what kind of activity precisely in a video. Now you can consider a video as a 3D cube of this frame, where exactly into the space and temporal dimensions that activity is happening. Even we can locate that through nodes and graphs, and using the graph analytics or graph intelligence we can tell this one. So by 2020, this was the state. Then we moved further towards the deep learning. Okay, how we can apply the deep learning onto the graph. And this is the today's hot topic, how we can use deep learning onto the graph. So deep learning gives lot of success onto the NLP, even till ChatGPT. We are seeing even vision models Google Lens. You can use, you can scan even any weed, and it can tell you what is the name of the plant, right? But can we do the same on the graph? Yes, we can do, but there are certain issues are there, certain challenges which are actually stopping us from doing that. So specifically the regular structure, irregular structures. So in image and video, those are great, and we know what is inside the left and who is on top. But in the graph, so nodes are there, graphs are there, nodes order does not matter, right? So it's a completely unstructured kind of data. Then heterogeneity is there. So nowadays, if you are on the Facebook or LinkedIn, it's not only peoples are on the Facebook or LinkedIn, even the organizations are on the Facebook. So heterogeneous kind of informations we can store onto the graph. Then think about, I wanted to compare the entire this linked list, this LinkedIn profiles with the Facebook profiles. Now the scale is millions, right? A millions cross millions graph I need to map with another million cross million graph. So that scale also we need to respect, and how we can encode the interdisciplinary knowledge, that is also we need to see, right? So coming to this graph neural networks, what kind of tasks they can perform. As I said during the examples, somewhere it is important to tell what is the properties of the node. Somewhere it is important to tell what is the properties of the connections, and sometimes it is important to tell what is the properties of the graph itself. Let's say in chemical, when we are seeing a graph of atoms, then what is their property, that we need to mind, right? So we can have node focused tasks like node classification, link prediction, and node recommendations. Or we can have the graph level task also, classifying the type of a graph, or estimating certain properties of the graph, or generating new graphs. So let's say you are given certain chemical compounds with certain property, right? So I wanted to come up with another chemical compound which having the some desired property. Let's say I wanted to make a chemical with certain defined pH level. So how I can do the generative AI to generate such a graph? If I know, then maybe we can think on whether that is possible to make a certain, let's say a certain acid with certain pH, whether it's possible or not, that we can also do through our this graph level tasks. So now, how we are going to achieve all these tasks? So best strategy is master the node, right? And the node, the graph will reveal itself. So in most of the graph based analytics, we are actually minding the learning the best representation for each node. If we can represent a node better than all other tasks, we can learn from that one only. So let's say, so here there is a one example where some initial properties known to us, we feed into the network and we get a AND representation. Now using this AND representation, because the representation belongs to the node, we can classify the nodes, right? We can directly pass that representation through a machine learning model, and we will get the class. Then second, if I wanted to I wanted to predict the property of the entire graph, then better I can do the aggregation of all the features or the decisions by the individual node, and at the end we are going to get the whole property of the graph. If let's say I know the properties of two nodes, then from those two nodes I can also predict what is the possibility that there is going to be a connection between these two nodes or not. So let's say, so you guys are friends onto Facebook, but not on the LinkedIn, right? By using certain of your representations from the Facebook, on LinkedIn, I can tell, okay, so what is your connections here and what are the connections there, and there finally what kind of properties or friend circles you hold. Based on that one, those two features vectors I need representing you, I can tell you whether there is a friendship between you or possible, or that is going to be a fruitful or not, right? So that we can do even for the edge predictions. So that's why nowadays most of the graph neural network are centering themselves along the like learning the nodes property. So once we learn the node property, all the tasks we can do. So now moving, there are different types of graph neural networks already emerged. So long back we started with the this recurrent neural networks for learning the graph connections. Then comes the graph convolutional neural network, graph autoencoders, graph reinforcement learning, and graph adversarial methods, and now the graph transformers. So I'm going to give a very high level overview of all of them without going too much into the details of the math. So how exactly they work? So they pick one particular node and find out how the node is connected to the all other nodes, and then based on that, what is their neighborhood? First we are going to learn that, and that neighborhood plus the properties of the node, we are going to combine them, and then we get the final representation to the nodes. And now once we have the nodes representation, we can apply loss functions. So the similar nodes should learn the same property, and dissimilar nodes should learn the different properties, right? So based on that one, in a supervised way or unsupervised way, you can learn the nodes property, and you can go along that one. Also, let's say again, I will give example from your social network. So whether your immediate connections matters or the connections of the connections also matter. Yes, that is matters. So we can go layered by layered. So 1 degree connections, then 2nd degree connections, 3rd degree connections, and so on until we get a desired representations for all the nodes, right? But this is not going to be that simple. So now let's say one person is connected to, one node is connected to 1,000 other nodes. Then at the level 2, all those are connected to the further 1,000 nodes. So how many total connections? In the second hop, we might get 1 million connections. So again, it's very difficult to handle them. So better is apply some kind of sampling. So let's say from the 1st degree, randomly I'm going to select only 100 connections. Then another second hope, there are millions of connections. Then I'm going to select some like another 100 or another 200 kind of nodes. Now it's a manageable data, so that way we can learn. Sorry. So, sorry. So finally, this way we can manage the large amount of data. So when we are going deeper into the network, we can get more and more connections. So then computationally that is not feasible. So through sampling, we can make it feasible. Now coming to the CNN. So in the image and video, they are performing quite better. But when we are coming to the graph, they are crashing, not applicable at all. Why? Because in the image, we have a very well-defined neighborhood. But we can say that we can arrange the nodes into the similar neighborhood and then we can perform our analytics. Yes, but in what order you are going to put, that order is not defined. So nodes can be anywhere, their position does not matter, but how they are connecting to each other, that matters, right? Okay. So there is a one-to-one mapping, but this order is actually preventing us from applying that part. So then certain works came. So maybe if some of you remember your this digital signal processing days, so there are things called that if something in the main domain is multiplication, then into the uh, frequency domain that is going to be your products. So FFT kind of things people actually leverage here. Why don't we project the graph data into a spectral domain, irrespective of where the node is there, that spectrum will come, and in that spectrum we will convolve them, and then the convolved operation we will project back into the graph domain. And that's exactly, if you see, is happening here. So graphs are actually projected into some kind of this spectrum domain, here QTU, that is, and then back convolution with another graph data, and then bringing it back. Okay, so should I write? Oh, right. So that way we can do the graph convolutions onto the graph. Then we learn the nodes, but how we will learn the importance of the edge. Then we have the graph attention networks, where the graph properties of two graphs we can feed into a network, and based on their similarity or their closeness, it will predict some of the weights for the edges or the properties of the edges. So we can also apply that for this purpose. Then again, using the similar kind of node properties, we can predict the edge properties. If edge properties are there, using that, we can also refine our node embeddings, and finally the like task based on the edge also we can predict. Second, and the last one, that is the graph transformer. So graph transformer, so we already have the node properties, right? So we can start feeding them as token into the transformers, and they can give us certain tasks. But in transformers, encoding matters. So somewhere we need to learn those embeddings, but here we already have our this adjacency matrix, which can act as position encoding. So this is over all landscape of our that development into the graph neural networks, and by now we already see a lot of evolutions. So and some of the applications are already there in computer visions. So like analyzing the sports videos and certain explanations. Oh, okay, oh, sure, sure. Thank you. Okay, so I will end here.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. I just already please get this automatically on the balance.
Started a bit late now. That's why.
Okay, okay, it's okay.
Even Mac and all is not
Yeah.
matching with every time some speaker comes to me. This is what the problem.
Mm. Oh no, these are the common in every event.
Yeah. And you have to bring so many accessories.
galaxy of intellectuals, distinguished invitees, esteemed academicians, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm and blissful morning to one and all. Remembering Lord Sharan Bashveshwara, with the blessings of His Holiness, Lingaika Paramapuja Dr. Sharan Baswappa Appaji, touching the lotus feet of Puja Matoshri Dr. Dakshayani Avvaji and Puja Dodappa Appaji, I, Shruti, it gives me an immense pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the third International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems 2026, organized by Shanbaswa University with the technical co-partner IEEE Bangalore section and IEEE North Karnataka subsection. Let us begin this auspicious program by invoking the divine blessings. May I now invite Department of Music for the prayer song. ದಾಸೋಹಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನದಾತನೇ, ಆತ್ಮದರಿವಿನ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಹಿಡಿದು ಹೊರಟಿದೆ. ಚಿಕ್ಕಡೆಯ ಚಿಚ್ಚೋಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ನಿಲಯ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, ಶಿವಾನುಭವಿ ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ನಾಮಕ ಪಡೆದು ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪನವರ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪಥ ಪಿಡಿದು, ಶರಣ ಬಸವಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪನವರ ರೀತಿ ದಾಸೋಹ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಬಸವಣ್ಣ ಅಲ್ಲಮ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮ ಶಿವಯೋಗಿ ಮಹಾದೇವಮ್ಮ ಗಂಗಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯರು ಲಕ್ಕಣ್ಣ ಗಣೇಶ ದಣ್ಣಾಯಕ ಕೇಶರಾಜ ಕಾಲಬಂದಿನವಾಸರು ಬಾಳಿದಾಯಿಲ್ಲ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಚಾಲುಕ್ಯ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕೂಟಗಳ ಚೂರಿ ಹೊಯ್ಸಳ ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಪ್ರೌಢದೇವರಾಯ, ಕಾಕತಿ ಕಿತ್ತೂರು ಕೆಳದಿ ಶಾಲೆಯರ ನೆಲಗೈಸಿರಿ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಜಾನಪದ ಗಂಗೋತ್ರಿ ಕವಿರಾಜ ಮಾತ ಕವಿಕಾವ್ಯದ ಸಿರಿಯ ಈ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ವಚನದ ಛರಿಯನ್ನು ಮಿನುಗಿದ ನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ, ತತ್ವಪದ ಸೂಫಿ ದಾಸರ ಹಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ದಾಸೋಹ ಸೂತ್ರಗಳ ಈ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ವಿದ್ಯೆಯು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸಿಗನ ಕೈವಶವು ಎಂಬುದೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅರಿವೇ ಗುರುವೆಂಬ ಅನುಭಾವ ತತ್ವವಿದೆ, ಗುರುಮುಕ್ತಿ ಗುರುವಾಗೋ ಸತ್ಯ ದರ್ಶನಿದೆ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ಸಂಗೀತ ಚಿತ್ರಕಲೆ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವು ಕಾವ್ಯ ಪುರಾಣ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಇತಿಹಾಸವು, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯ ಕಲೆಯು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಿಧಿ ವಿಸ್ತಾರಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲಿ, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ. ದಯವೇ ಧರ್ಮವು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೆಂಬ ಕಾಯಕವೇ ಕೈಲಾಸ ಸರ್ವದಲೇ ದಾಸೋಹ, ಸಕಲ ಜೀವಾತ್ಮರಿಗೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ನೀಡುತ್ತ ಮುನ್ನಡೆ Thank you, team, for your soulful prayer. Before we proceed further, let us pause and take a moment to remember late Puja Dr. Shanbaswappa Appaji, 8th Mahadasoha Peethadipati, founder Chancellor Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi. Remembering His Holiness Paramapuja Dr. Shanbaswappa Appaji was a visionary educationist whose lifelong mission transformed the educational landscape of this region. With a deep conviction that education is the most powerful instrument for the social change, he established and nurtured institutions that have benefited lakhs of students, especially from rural and economically weaker backgrounds. A distinctive and pioneering aspect of his contribution was his unwavering commitment to women's education and women empowerment. By starting exclusively women's educational programs and institutions, he opened a new pathway for girls to pursue higher education with confidence, dignity, and equal opportunities. These initiatives not only enhanced academic participation but also strengthened the social and economic status of women across the region. Today, around 35,000 students are pursuing their education in the institutions inspired by his vision, while nearly 5,000 staff members are gainfully employed, making these institutions a strong pillar of academic and social development. Beyond formal education, Dr. Shanbaswappa Appaji showed a rare compassion by initiating Dasoha within a school and college campuses, firmly believing that hunger should never become a barrier to learning. His holistic approach, combining quality education, women empowerment, social equality, and a human compassion, has left an indelible mark on the lives of students, teachers, and the wider community. The contributions of Param Puja Dr. Shanbaswappa Appaji will always be remembered with a gratitude and a reverence as his legacy continues to inspire generations. Today, we all are here only because of Lingaike Param Puja Dr. Appaji, whose absence is felt every moment, but his presence is felt his blessings. So, to start an event, let us pay tribute to Puja Appaji. So, I request everyone to raise for 1 minute prayer. Thank you. Please resume your seats. It is now my privilege to invite Dr. Shivkumar Jivalgi Sir, Dean Shanbaswa University, to deliver the welcome address.
ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ತನ್ನಂತರ ಏನು ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಸಿಗ ತನ್ನ ಬದುಕು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬರಬೇಕು.
ಅದು 1935 ನವೆಂಬರ್ 14 ಮಹಾದಾಸೋಹ ಶ್ರೀ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದದಿಂದ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಎಂಬ ಅಂಧಕಾರದ ಕತ್ತಲೆಯನ್ನು ಹೋಗಲಾಡಿಸಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಹೊಸ ಬೆಳಕನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲವೇ ಸಾರಲು ಜನಿಸಿದ ದಿವ್ಯ ಚೇತನವೇ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಭಂಡಾರಿ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶರಣಬಸವ ಅಪ್ಪ ಏಳನೇ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾದ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾತೋಶ್ರೀ ಗೋದಾತಾಯಿ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಮಡಿಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದಾಗ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವರು 1903ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಿದ್ಯಾವರ್ಧಕ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರು ಹಾಗೂ 1918ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿಯನ್ನು ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತೆಗೆದರು. ಆಗಿನ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಕೋಟಿಯ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕೂಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಂತರನ್ನಾಗಬೇಕು, ದೇಶದ ಉನ್ನತ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕೆಂದು 1934ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಹಾದೇವಿ ಕನ್ಯಾ ಪ್ರೌಢಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದರು. ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗಿ ಟಾಟಾ ಗಾಡಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿದರು. ಹೀಗೆ ಆರಂಭವಾದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯು ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಿತು. ಒಬ್ಬ ಬಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಕೂಡ ಹೊರ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಪಡೆಯುವುದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಎಂದು ತಿಳಿದು ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಒಬ್ಬ ಬಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಗನು ಕೂಡ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಬೇಕು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಾದ್ಯಂತ ದೇಶಾದ್ಯಂತ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಕನಸಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಈ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಶರಣಬಸವ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವರು 1949ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ PU ಕಾಲೇಜ್, 1956ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಹಾವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ, 1967ರಲ್ಲಿ SSK ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬಸವ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ್, 1971ರಲ್ಲಿ ಗುರುತಾಯಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ PU ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗಾಗಿ, 2011ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಶಿವಪುರ ಹಾಗೂ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೀರ್ತಿಯು ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಸಲ್ಲುತ್ತದೆ. ಹೀಗೆ 80ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಿಭಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಕನಸಿನಂತೆ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಕಲಬುರಗಿಯು ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಭಂಡಾರವಾಗಿದೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಬಡವನ ಮಗನು ಇಂದು ಹೊರ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ದೇಶ ವಿದೇಶದ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವೈದ್ಯರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಹಲವು ತರಹದ ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರ ಈ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಸಾಧನೆಯ ದಾರಿಗೆ ದೀಪವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಸಾಧನೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರವಲ್ಲದೆ ದೆಹಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಸಂಸತ್ತಿನ ಎದುರು ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಸವಾದಿ ತತ್ವವನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಸಾರಿದರು. ಶರಣರೇ ದಾಸೋಹ, ದಾಸೋಹವೇ ಶರಣರು ಎಂಬ ವಾಣಿಯಂತೆ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಧನೆಗಳು ಸಾಧನೆ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ನನ್ನ ಹುಟ್ಟು ಸಮಾಜದ ಏಳಿಗೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಾಜದ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂದು ಅರಿತು ಎಂದಿಗೂ ಸತತವಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿತು. ಅಂದು ದಾಸೋಹಕ್ಕೆ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರರು ಹಚ್ಚಿದ ದೀಪ ಇಂದಿಗೂ 8ನೇ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿ ಶರಣಬಸವ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವರಿಂದ 9ನೇ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾದ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪರವರು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ದಾಸೋಹ ಮಹಾಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಲಕ್ಷದಿಂದ 2 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ಭಕ್ತಾದಿಗಳು ಬಂದು ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಸೇವಿಸಿ ಪಾವನರಾಗುತ್ತಾರೆ.
Good morning to one and all. Seeking the divine blessings of Lord Shanbasweshwara and invoking the blessings of Lingaikia Puja, Dr. Shanbasappa Appaji, 8th Mahadasova Peethadipati of Shanbasweshwara Samsthana and founder chancellor of Shanbaswa University Kalburgi. I bow to the lotus feet of Puja Mato Sri Dr. Dakshayani S. Appa, President of Shanbasweshwara Vidyavardhaka Sangha and Chancellor of Shanbaswa University Kalburgi. I also offer my respectful reverence to the 9th Mahadasova Peethadipati of Shanbasweshwara Samsthana, Puja Sri Dodappa Appaji. On behalf of Shanbaswa University, in technical collaboration with the IEEE Bangalore section, I am honored to welcome you all to the inaugural session of this 3rd International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems 2026. We are gathered here at the sacred Puja Dodappa Appa Sabha Mantapa, a venue that symbolizes our rich heritage and academic excellence, to deliberate upon the future of global technology. This conference serves as a vital platform for integrated intelligence, bringing together brilliant minds to address complex challenges in communication systems and emerging technologies. Our heartfelt welcome to Sri Basuraj Deshmukh, Sir, Honorable Secretary, Shanbasweshwara Vidyavardhaka Sangha, and Member of Board of Governors, Shanbaswa University, our esteemed inaugurator. Welcome you, sir. We are privileged to have a galaxy of eminent dignitaries with us. Dr. Shubhangi, DC, Regional Director, Vishweshwara Technological University, Kalburgi, as a chief guest. Welcome you, madam. I also would like to extend my warm welcome to Dr. Hemlata KL, Sri Krishna Institute of Technology, Bengaluru, as a guest of honor. Welcome you, ma'am. We are particularly delighted to welcome our distinguished international keynote speakers, Dr. Rodolfo Oliveira, Senior Researcher, the Institute of Data Telecommunication, Lisbon, Chair, IEEE Portugal Section. Welcome you, sir. I also would like to welcome Dr. Dinesh Singh, Assistant Professor, School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi, India. Welcome you, sir. I want to welcome Professor Anil Kumar G. Bidve, Vice Chancellor, Sharan Basava University, who is presiding over today's function. Welcome you, sir. Dr. V.D. Maitri, Director, Sharan Basava University. Welcome you, sir. Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka, Registrar and Steering Committee Chair of this conference. Welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Kiran Maka, Finance Officer, Sharan Basava University. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Sujata V. Malapur, Dean Research, Sharan Basava University. Welcome you, ma'am. I also extend my heartfelt welcome to Sri T.V. Sivanandan, sir, Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences. Welcome you, sir. All the deans of various faculties, chairmen of departments, faculty members, external session chairs, delegates, media personnel, researchers, and dear students. Dear delegates, researchers, and students, during this conference, our campus will become a vibrant hub of integrated intelligence. I encourage you to actively participate, exchange ideas, collaborate, debate, and innovate. Once again, I extend a warm and hearty welcome to you all to Sharan Basava University. May this conference be intellectually enriching and resounding success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your warm and gracious welcome. In a world driven by data, powered by intelligence, and connected through advanced communication systems, we pause for a timeless tradition that is lighting of the lamp. To mark the formal inauguration of this conference, I would like to request inaugurator of today's conference, Shri Basaraj Deshmukh sir, Secretary Sharan Basava Vidyavardhaka Sangha and Member Board of Governors Sharan Basava University, and all the dignitaries to kindly come forward for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀದರ್ದವ್ರು ಒಬ್ಬರಾರ ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎದವ್ರು ಒಬ್ಬರಾರ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ನಿಜಾಮುದ್ದೀನ್ ಒಂದು ಮಹೇಶ್ ಸನ್ಸರ್ ಸತೀಶ್ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೇ ಹರ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಹೆಸರು ಬೇಕು ರಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಆಯ್ತು
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Thank you, dignitaries.
I'm sorry, I forgot the name of our register evaluation. I would also like to welcome Dr. S.H. Honnelli, Register Evaluation, Sharan Basava University, for this event.
Thank you, sir. The third International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems is a prestigious platform bringing together researchers, academicians, experts, and students to deliberate on emerging trends of different domains. To brief about the conference, I would like to invite Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka ma'am, Registrar Sharan Basava University, Kalburgi, and a steering committee chair to brief about the conference.
Good morning to one and all. Remembering Lord Sharan Basaveshwara and seeking the blessings of Lingaikya Pujya Dr. Sharan Basappa Appaji, and with the divine blessings of Matu Shri Dr. Dakshayani Awwaji, Chancellor Sharan Basava University, Pujya Dodappaji, 9th Mahadasaho Pitadipati, Sharan Basaveshwara Samsthana, respected inaugurator of today's third series IEEE conference, Shri Basaraj Deshmukh sir, Vice Chancellor, Sharan Basava University, Professor Anil Kumar Bidve sir, Director, Dr. V.D. Maitri sir, and all the dignitaries on the dais. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome you to the third series of the IEEE International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems, ICIICS 2026. What started as a vision has today grown into a globally recognized academic platform that continues to strengthen with every edition. Our IEEE student branch was started in 2020, inaugurated on 20th October 2020 virtually due to COVID-19 in the presence of Chief Guest Mr. Puneet Kumar Mishra, Chair 2020 IEEE Bangalore Section, Dr. Suresh H. Jangamshetty, Chair 2020 IEEE North Karnataka Subsection, along with our university officers with Geo Code STB 35739. Our student branch has 3 societies and 1 affinity group: IEEE Circuit and Systems Society, IEEE Computer Society, IEEE Information Theory and Coding Society, affinity group IEEE Women in Engineering. From then, we actively started our student branch conducting various technical, non-technical, professional events, humanitarian and outreach programs both in person and virtual. Every year, we conduct more than 35 plus events under IEEE societies. Proud to say, this is our third consecutive IEEE International Conference. Our last 2 conference proceedings presented papers are successfully uploaded in the IEEE Explore globally. The journey of ICIICS began in 2023, officially inaugurated by Dr. Ajay Singh, Chairman KKRDB, MLA Jawargi, then with the aim of creating a dynamic and high quality research platform. The second series, ICIICS 2024, further elevated the conference to international prominence by hosting distinguished speakers and guests from the prestigious institutions such as University from South Africa, NTU Singapore, IITs, ISRO, and many other reputed organizations. Their presence and contributions significantly enriched the academic depth and global outlook of the conference. I am proud to share that all the accepted papers from the first and second series have been successfully published in IEEE Explore and indexed in major databases including Scopus, Web of Science, reflecting the academic standards maintained by the conference. Coming to ICIICS 2026, the third series has witnessed an overwhelming response from globally research community. We received more than 1600 scholarly submissions from across the world. After a standard IEEE standard peer review process and multiple rounds of evaluation by our dedicated technical program committee, around 235 plus high quality papers have been accepted for the presentation. This clearly demonstrates the growing credibility, visibility, and trust that researchers place in ICIICS. This year's conference continues to provide a vibrant platform for researchers, academicians, industry experts, and students to present innovative ideas, exchange knowledge, and discuss emerging trends in integrated intelligence and communication systems. The selected papers have been categorized into specialized track to ensure focused technical discussions and meaningful interactions. We have invited eminent domain experts from the reputed institutions and industries to chair the sessions, evaluate presentations, and provide valuable insights to participants. Best paper awards will be presented in each track and participation certificates will be issued to all the presenters. ICIICS 2026 is not just a conference, it is a testimony to collaborate effort, academic excellence, and continuous growth. The success of this series reflects the collective dedication of the organizing committee, reviewers, IEEE bodies, authors, speakers, and participants. I deeply appreciate their efforts towards the success of the conference. We are the first to conduct IEEE NKSS Student Congress Srujanam with more than 150 participants. We are academic sponsors for the international conferences for women in innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship, which is flagship event of IEEE Women in Engineering Bangalore section every year. With our continuous contribution towards IEEE globally aiming to bridge the academic theory with industry practice, focusing innovation, profession development, and betterment of sustainable society. In year 2025, our student branch is awarded as Outstanding Student Branch 2025 by IEEE Bangalore section in the recognition of exemplary leadership, sustained excellence, and impactful events towards technology for the benefit of society. Along with the student branch recognition, our IEEE Circuit and Systems Society is also recognized as Outstanding Student Chapter 2025 by North Karnataka subsection. Our IEEE faculty advisors and coordinators are awarded by IEEE Bangalore section and IEEE North Karnataka subsection, such as Outstanding WIE Professional Award 2024 in Academia under IEEE Bangalore section, Outstanding IEEE North Karnataka subsection Volunteer Awards 2025. Our students were also awarded by IEEE Awards as Best Project for Women and Child Safety by IEEE Bangalore section as at Wintecken IEEE International Women in Technology Conference 2024. I am confident that this third series of ICIICS will further strengthen international collaborations, inspire innovation research, and set new benchmarks for future editions. We look forward to seeing ICIICS 2026 to be informative and enjoyable. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for valuable insight. Now it's time to honor our esteemed invitees as a token of respect and gratitude. I would like to request Dr. Anil Kumar Bidve, sir, Vice Chancellor Sharan Baswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate today's inaugurator, Shri Basuraj Deshmukh, sir, Secretary Sharan Bashveshwara Vidyavardhaka Sangha and Member Board of Governors, Sharan Baswa University. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka, ma'am, Registrar Sharan Baswa University, Kalburgi, and Steering Committee Chair, to felicitate today's chief guest, Dr. Shubhangi DC, ma'am, Regional Director, VTU, Center for PT Studies, Kalburgi. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to request Dr. V.D. Maitri, sir, Director, Sharan Baswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate another chief guest, Dr. Rodolfo Oliveira, sir, Senior Researcher, the Institute of DE Telecommunication, Lisbon, and Chair, IEEE Portugal Section. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Sujata Malappuram, ma'am, Dean of Research, Sharan Baswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate guest of honor, Dr. Hemalata KL, ma'am, Sri Krishna Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to request Dr. S.H. Honnali, sir, Registrar Evaluation, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate Dr. Dinesh Singh, sir, Assistant Professor, School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi. Thank you, sir. As a gesture of mutual respect and collaboration, we have felicitation to university officers on behalf of IEEE Bangalore section and IEEE North Karnataka subsection. I would like to request Dr. Kiran Maka, sir, Finance Officer, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, and Finance Chair, to felicitate Dr. Anil Kumar Bidve, sir, Vice Chancellor, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Shulila Patil, ma'am, Chairperson, Department of CEC, FATW, to felicitate Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka, ma'am, Registrar, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, and Steering Committee Chair. Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Shivkumar Jawargi, sir, Dean, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate Dr. V.D. Maitri, sir, Director, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Sharan Shikeda, sir, Chairman, Department of Mechanical Engineering, FOET, to felicitate Dr. S.H. Honnali, sir, Registrar Evaluation, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Shashidhar Sannad, sir, Chairperson, Department of ECE, FOET, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, to felicitate Dr. Kiran Maka, sir, Finance Officer and Finance Chair of the conference. sir. I request Dr. Sachin Veer Shetty, sir, Chairman, Department of CSD FOET, to felicitate Dr. Shivkumar Javalki, sir, Dean Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, and Conference Chair and Convener. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Sushma Patil, ma'am, Chairperson, Department of EEE, FETW, to felicitate Dr. Sujata Mallapuri, ma'am, Dean of Research, Shanbaswa University, Kalburgi, and Conference Co-Chair. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have a felicitation to session chairs of the conference. Now I would like to request Dr. Shivkumar Kage, sir, Chairman, Department of CSE FOET, to felicitate Dr. Muhammad Bakar, sir, Professor, Department of ENC, GNT College of Engineering, Bidar. Mistake ಆಯ್ತು. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Nagini K. Ma'am, Chairperson, Department of ENC, to felicitate Dr. Soumya Pedde, Ma'am, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, PDA College of Engineering, Kalburgi. Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Prashant Chimalgi, sir, Chairman, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, to felicitate Professor Veeresh G. Kasbegowda, Professor and Dean, Development, Department of ENC, Central University of Karnataka, Kalburgi. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Virupakshappa Patil, sir, Professor, Department of CSE FOET, to felicitate Dr. Mahesh San, sir, Associate Professor, JSPM University, Pune. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Now it's time for official release of the conference proceedings. It represents the collective intellectual effort of our contributors. Each paper included in this volume reflects the rigorous research, academic integrity, and a shared commitment to advancing the knowledge in the field of integrated intelligence and communication systems. Now, I would like to request all the dignitaries to release the conference proceedings. Thank you, dignitaries. We extend our sincere gratitude to our authors, researchers, review committee, editorial team, and organizing committee for their efforts. Now, we move to the most insightful segment. May I now request Sri Basiraj Deshmukh Sir, Secretary Sharan Bashveshwara Vidyavartaka Sangha and Member Board of Governors to address the gathering.
ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಆರಾಧ್ಯ ದೇವರಾದ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನೆದು ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಹಬ್ಬ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಆದ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಲಿಂಗೈಕ್ಯ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಶರಣಬಸಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನೆನೆದು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಮತ್ತು ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಆದ ಮಾತೋಶ್ರೀ ದಾಕ್ಷಿಣಿ ತಾಯಿಯ ಪಾದಕ್ಕೆ ವಂದಿಸಿ ಶರಣಬಸವೇಶ್ವರ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನದ 9ನೇ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾದ ದೊಡ್ಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಪಾದಕ್ಕೆ ವಂದಿಸಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ IEEE ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷತೆ ವಹಿಸಿದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅನಿಲ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಬಿಡಿವಾಸರ್ ಅವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಶರಣರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದದೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗ ಬಂದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ಶೋಭಂಗಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರೇ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶೋಭಂಗಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಹಿರಿಯರಾದ DB ಮೈತ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ನಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಪಾಟೀಲ್ ಅವರೇ, ಸುಧಾ ಹೊನ್ನಳ್ಳಿ ಅವರೇ, ಕಿರಣ್ ಮಾಕ ಅವರೇ ಮತ್ತು ಜವಳಿಗೆ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಿಂದ ವಿದೇಶದಿಂದ ಬಂದು ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಂದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಹಿನಿಯರೇ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಸರೇ, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರೇ, ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಅನುಭವ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭ. ಇದು ನಾನಾ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಅನುಭವ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷನೂ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆದರೆ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇತಿಹಾಸ ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ 12ನೇ ಶತಮಾನದವು ಕೂಡ ಅನುಭವ ಮಂಟಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಸವೇಶ್ವರವರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದರು. ಅನುಭವ ಆಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿವಿಧ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಂದು ಯಾವ ಜಾತಿ ಇರಲಾರ್ದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮ ಇರಲಾರ್ದೆ ಅನುಭವ ಮಂಟಪ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿ ವಚನ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯಗಳು ಅದು. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಈ ಅನುಭವ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರು ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಂದಿರುವ ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ನೀವು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಗುಲಾಮಿಗಿಂತ ನೀವೇ ಸ್ವತಃ ಒಂದು 100 ಜನ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅನುಭವ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಾವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಹಳ ವಿಶೇಷ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಬಸವ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಸ್ಲೋಗನೇ ಅದೇ ಇದೆ, ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಎಂಬುದು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದ ಕೈವಶ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಲೋಗನ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯ ಅದು ಓದಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸಕರ ಕೈವಶ ಅಂತ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿಯವರು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಯ ವ್ಯರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಲಾರ್ದೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀವು ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಶೇರ್ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ತಿಳಿಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ. ಮತ್ತು 2 ದಿವಸ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದು IEEE ಜೊತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಮೂರನೇ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ಇದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಬಹಳ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದ ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಇದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದ ಪ್ರದೇಶ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಒತ್ತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು IEEE ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕೂಡಿ ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಶುಭ ಆಗಲಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ. ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಆಗಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅನುಭವಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಶರಣರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಶುಭ ಹಾರೈಸುತ್ತಾ 2 ಮಾತು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shubhangi DC Ma'am, Regional Director VTU, Center for PG Studies, Kalburgi, to share her thoughts on this occasion.
Good morning to everyone. By touching the lotus feet of Lingayaka, Pujya Shri Dr. Sharan Basappa Appaji, Pujya Shri Matu Shri Ji, Pujya Dodappa Appaji, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, respected Dr. Baswarajas Deshmukh Ji, Chief Guest Ronaldo, Dinesh Singh Ji, Dr. Leen, Dr. Hemilata Madam, Dr. Vishwanath P, Vice Chancellor of Sharan Baswa University, Professor Anil Kumar Bidwe Ji, a dynamic lady, Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka Madam, Finance Officer, Finance Chair of this conference, Kiran Maka Ji, Conference Chair and Convener, Shiv Kumar Jawargi Sir Ji, Sujata Madam Ji, and my Guru and Director, Dr. V.D. Maitri Ji. First of all, I'm little bit emotional today because my journey has been started from this institute. Let me share something officially. That there is a emotional connection is there with this university, Sharan Baswa University. I think Bidwe sir knows it. We have worked together, and even I discussed with Baswaraj Deshmukh sir ji also. Officially, I want to give one statement today that Kalyan Karnataka region's first IEEE connectivity given by this institute. Have a big round of applause. In 2005, I registered for PhD, and to download the research material was not available. You know what was the situation. Now everything is on hand. Everywhere, in every institute, you will get the research, this one. But that time, that facility was not available. We met Appaji and we requested, we have to start our research. So immediately, within 24 hours,
Appaji has given the first IEEE connectivity to the university. I say thanks wholeheartedly because he has played very important role, and this institute has played very important role in the growth of mind in the academics. So I think there are no words for me to say the thanks also, but I thanks. Many more things are there to share regarding this institute, and I wholeheartedly congratulate once again to the university for conducting the third IEEE conference in the Shanbasava University. Coming back to the main agenda, while talking about the research, so everyone is doing the research, those who are seated. In the front row, many of my faculties, those who are working, they are my students and they have given the excellent presentation with the excellent problems. Let me give the brief about that one, how to find the research. As Ronaldo sir is there with us, so let me give the status of the research from India. Sir, what we people we do it actually, that while collecting the data, usually we'll give the preference to the data which is available ready-made with us. But my suggestion to the research faculties, those you people are guiding, as well as the students, those who are doing the research, kindly give the preference to the real-time data. Because when you are doing the research, the thing is that you have to contribute something to the society. Don't take this one, start working on the real-time systems, real-time problems, which is very important one. Because when you'll start working onto the real-time problems, so definitely it will fulfill the research gap which is available into the society. So it will help us to design some equipments and that we can donate it to the society. Try to avoid the simulation which you are getting it, because our aim should not have to restrict itself to get the degree only. Don't restrict yourself only to get the degree, but develop something, and it's our social responsibility to contribute to the society. Through the research, we can contribute, okay? We can design some products, we can design some gadgets, and we can provide it to this, because every platform is required the research. And second suggestion that I wanted to give you, that start doing the research on the cross platform. So this particular conference is working onto the cross platform because all circuit branches are there. Togetherly they are doing it. Don't restrict yourself. For example, I wanted to tell you, if any of the branch is there, either mechanical or civil, you can see that one. When you are capturing, or if a machine is there, when you are getting the reading onto the machine, why can't you deploy those results onto the cloud? So that type of research will be the cross platform research. That is one of the research is there, because see, maximum research problems are available onto the cross platform research. One of the small example, few days back, the main managing director of the Hindu of Nationwide, he came and discussed with me regarding the artificial intelligence. They have signed some MOU with the this one government of Karnataka, and he was representing here in the this one. He was talking about the artificial intelligence. He told me, what is artificial intelligence? Ma'am, when you explain me, I told, sir, how much time you are having it? He told me maximum 5 minutes. I given a simple answer to him, sir, will you differentiate if one teacher went to the school, class, when he will interact or she will interact with the students? So first thing is that we are having the ability to understand the emotions of the students. Whether artificial intelligence will understand? No, that's the difference. So all such problems are available because you don't restrict yourself, go into the depth of the research, because that name has came super artificial intelligence. So we will look forward and we are going in that direction, and definitely once again will be succeed. Thank you once again to each officials of the Sharan Baswa University for giving me the opportunity to share the dais with you all, sir, and for inviting me as a chief guest. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Dr. Rodolfo Oliveira Sir, Senior Researcher, the Institute of DE Telecommunication, Lisbon, to speak few words on this occasion.
Good morning. For me, it's an honor to be here and being invited by the university. So, congratulations for such a successful event and this conference, which particularly has this label and sponsorship of IEEE Bangalore session, which is really well known within IEEE sphere as one of the most active sections. Congratulations for all this success and the dynamics that we observe here and the energy you really demonstrate with this kind of events. So a final word for the attendance is really impressive for me to have all these attendees, and particularly women, which is really a big goal of IEEE, because we really want to have more women in engineering. Congratulations for all this success, and thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Dr. Hemlata Ma'am, Sri Krishna Institute of Technology, Bangalore, to speak few words.
Very good morning to one and all, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. And of course, it's a profound privilege and honor for me to be among these young, brilliant minds at this auspicious conference, where together we converge not only as educators and learners, but beyond that, as the architects of tomorrow's world. And of course, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate the management, principal, the organizing team, the student volunteers of IEEE for organizing this IEEE conference in this platform, where you're able to get the research scholars, the academicians, the industry experts under one common roof to discuss about the cutting edge technologies, what is happening in the current world. And of course, the theme of today's conference is integrated intelligence and communication systems. Of course, it's a fusion of AI, which is combined with the communication systems to solve the recent problems, what is happening in the current world. And in today's era, if we look into, intelligence is nowhere being isolated, but it is integrated. Likewise, communication is nowhere being conventional as past, but again, it is intelligent. And to just give an example of this, if you look at the smart healthcare systems today, it is able to predict the diseases, what is happening without the actual systems coming into picture. That is, it is able to converge the intelligent and the communication systems through the ECG, through the patch cards, through sensors, through IoT, and collecting the data of the remote patient in terms of the blood pressure, in terms of the heart rate, in terms of oxygen, and then converting this data and uploading into the communication systems through 5G, 6G technologies. And of course, not only in terms of healthcare, even in terms of the transportation, in terms of the automated systems, we are able to evolve the data, we are able to adapt the data, and we are able to respond. And overall, when we look at this concepts of intelligent integration and communication system, in terms of the healthcare, it has reduced the patient's life expectancy, and the admission rate in the hospital is being reduced, the healthcare cost is being reduced. And overall, to say, it has converted a shift from the reactive to the proactive and preventive care methodology. And of course, as an IEEE member, the main motto is just to see to that there is a advanced technology in humanity. And of course, this conference plays a vital role in fulfilling our motto. And we are very happy to see to that the scholars can definitely present the groundbreaking ideas, what is happening, and the students are able to learn something beyond technology. And the experts, industry people are able to transform the problem statement, the theoretical concept into something impactful solutions. And this conference is very much important, and it is the need of the hour, where you're able to integrate both intelligence and communication systems to solve the problems. And of course, as many participants are might be scholars and undergraduate students, if you have any sort of doing some innovation or research, my piece of advice is just concentrate on 3-letter R's. One is relevant. Of course, each and every student might have their own area of interest or own area of domain. So always have a clear-cut relevant domain to which you need to proceed. And once your domain is fixed, concentrate on the recent issues, what is happening in that particular area. Don't go past a decade. Just 2 years recently, what is the changes happening in your area of interest? That is very much important. Concentrate on that relevant area. And once your problem statement is in place, see to that you publish your papers in the reliable journals. Very much important. Of course, publishing a paper in reliable journals, you can get that exposure by presenting papers in such IEEE conferences, Springer conferences, and so on. So once these 3 R's are in place, your work can be published, you can definitely get your degree, it can be patented, and it can be converted into a product as well. And of course, with these few words, I really once again congratulate the entire team for giving me an opportunity. And I wish this conference will definitely provide a meaningful discussion, and all of you will get inspired from this and get an impactful outcome of this conference. Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable insight. May I now invite Dr. Dinesh Singh, sir, Assistant Professor, School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, IIT Mandi, to address the gathering.
Morning all. I would like to thank the organizer to organize such a wonderful event. Organizing such a wonderful event at such a large scale is not merely possible. It's not simply handling the logistics, but a lot more leadership things you need to place in the place. I was asking, over 600 submissions were done in this conference, and handling the review process for that many papers is really a tedious task which the program committee need to do. And at the end, some 200 plus submissions were accepted, which are going to be presented into the coming days. I hope all of you will enjoy those technical sessions. We also have some international key note speakers, which will add some additional values to this overall conference. So I would like to thank organizers and the volunteers who are actually working behind the scene to manage all the things to organize such a wonderful things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to receive a special video message from Dr. Rocio Perez de Prado, Professor, University of Jaén from Spain. I request technical team to please play the video.
Namaskara, Kalguna. So this is Sophia Bergamo, Associate Professor of Telecommunication and Department at the University of Hagen in Spain. And I'm so pleased to share this video message on occasion of the third international conference on integrated intelligence and communication systems in this version of 2026, organized by St. Barnabas University in 20 and 21 of February, in association with Metropolitan Session of North Karnataka subsection. I'm really delighted to recall my visit to this conference in 2023. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the management of St. Barnabas University for the warm hospitality. It was so great to be there with you. Really, the whole university with its positive environment, the cultural richness, really left a lasting impression on me. And I truly appreciate the academic culture and the dedication shown by the whole institution. So the theme and the topics of this conference, I think they really shows a strong emphasis on practical applications and contemporary developments, very relevant to incorporating technological landscapes, which I think makes this even especially meaningful for researchers and practitioners alike. So I congratulate the associations related to this conference, particularly all the family, the faculty members, the students of University in Kabuga for the great efforts, for the enthusiasm and the commitment in organizing this conference towards making it a grand success. So I wish the conference every success, and I want to extend my best wishes to all participants and my dear colleagues there. So see you soon. Have a great conference time.
I thank ma'am on behalf of St. Barnabas University. We have another video message from Dr. Lean Carlos Santos Tolentien, Technological University of the Philippines, Manila, Philippines. Sorry for the inconvenience. May I now request Dr. Anil Kumar Bidwesel for his presidential remark.
I remember Lord Shanbashweshwara on this auspicious day of inauguration of the third International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems. My prayers to the lotus feet of Lingaikya Puja Dr. Shanabasava Papaji, the founder chancellor of Shanbasava University. Also my prayers to the lotus feet of Matosri Puja Dr. Dakshayani Avaji, Chancellor of the University and President of the Shanbashir Vidyavadaka Sangha. My prayers to the lotus feet of 9th Mahadasava Pithadipati of the Shanbashir Samsthana, Pujyadada Papaji. Today's inaugurator, our beloved Annaji, Sri Baswaraj Deshmukhji, Secretary of the Shanbashir Vidyavadaka Sangha and Member Board of Governors of this university. All the galaxy of experts from various fields of information and communication technology, those who have chaired on the dais, and many more experts are sitting in the audience. Some are session chairs and some are expert speakers. All the participants from various institutions, universities, both from the teaching fraternity as well as students community, the staff of Shanbasava University, and all my young friends from particularly circuit branches. This day is a big day for both faculty and students, commonly called as researchers, especially in the field of electronics and communication engineering, computer science, artificial intelligence, and electrical engineering. Apart from the other core engineering branches, including civil and mechanical today, this technology is a need of everybody, whether it is utility of this technology is concerned, especially the communication technology, or contribution to this technology is concerned. Everybody has to play their role. When I gone through the proceedings of the conference, it was really overwhelming. In this third conference, the response from the researchers is very big. It was a tough time for the scrutiny team to choose the papers from thousands of research articles contributed by various young researchers across the globe. Such a big response from researchers, it only indicates the success of such initiatives. I congratulate the team led by our registrar Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka and her entire team belonging to this particular field of research for making this such a big event and making it more meaningful. On behalf of Sharan University, I extend our sincere thanks to the entire IEEE team, the Bangalore division and other sections, for their kind cooperation in every such aspect, because it's a world's prestigious professional body, without which the research in this area is incomplete. And the contribution coming from this particular platform is immense, cannot be expressed in words. I also look forward for continued support in the future too, for contributing to the technological know-how. I make a humble appeal to all my young minds. The young students particularly, they may be thinking that, anyway we are studying, we are not part of the research, and why we have been asked to sit in this morning in this particular hall. Most of them might have seen that this is the first day of the even semester for many of you, and you have been pulled from your classes and you have been asked to sit in this gathering. My dear friends, you are the most luckiest people to be here. I really jealous of you because when I was a student, such opportunities were not there. Lucky in what sense? If you are thinking that you have to join for PhD only to do research, I don't agree with you. Research mindset doesn't have any boundaries, doesn't require any pre-qualifications. Anybody can do research. You need not have to join engineering colleges to contribute in the field of electronics and communication technologies, or in any field, not necessary. Anybody can do research. Anybody can contribute for the knowledge. When this university was being established during the year of 2016-17, during that part of the time, there was one question: what should be the objective of the university? We have to draft the objective of the university. At that time, Pujya Appaji said the very objective of every university is to expand the horizon of knowledge. What do you mean that? Expansion of horizon of world knowledge is, unless you contribute for the knowledge, expansion doesn't come. Contribution to the knowledge comes from research, and anybody can do. Being in your UG branches, PG branches, you are already involved in the research. Our university policy of making one credited project every semester will make you or bring you an important opportunity to contribute. There is no syllabus for the project. You have a syllabus for every course what you have registered or what you are going to register in the future, but there is no syllabus for the project. That means that you have a chance to think out of the box, and thinking out of the box is that contributing for the knowledge. That is how, my dear friends, these 2 days make it more memorable and enjoyable, because the field of electronics and communication engineering, especially, or communication technology field, is evolving over a period of time, right from the first communication
the wired two-wire telephone line to today's 6D communication, lot of evolution has taken place, both in terms of ideas and in terms of materials. Being from the physics part, people from my field have two responsibilities. One, we contribute materials, new materials through our research we hand over these new materials to the engineers for manipulating them and to create the technology. And another contribution comes from the basic research is that too from the field of physics is ideas. The basic concepts of physics and the materials, the new materials invented by the basic science people provide bigger and bigger opportunities for the engineers to develop newer and newer technologies. My dear friends, every new technology faces challenges, and some challenges are being faced by the kind of materials what they are available today. These materials cannot be used for certain applications. For example, these days a lot of implantable technologies are available. There are many devices which are being implanted into the human body. Today's electronics which is put, for example, a pacemaker. Pacemaker is a piece of electronics which provides a support for the heart, which requires pulses. If the natural pacemaker dies, the person has to die, but today the person is not able to die. An artificial pacemaker provides life support to a person. It means a mini electronics is within your body and a pacemaker is fitting. But these electronics which are out of the semiconductor technology are very cruel because they are not flexible. Normally anything which is implanted into the body should act like a flesh and other parts. It should be flexible first. My dear friends, flexible conductors and flexible semiconductors are being produced in the basic sciences. The future of the communication technology will be entirely different. And a lot of inroads are being taking place in the area of quantum computing, as the computer science experts can very well, throw light on that, because there are some of the papers which are in that field also, and many more things are yet to come. As far as communication technologies are concerned, it is not an incomplete, it's a complete communication, because you know that when you communicate physically in front of face-to-face communication, that entire communication cannot be done with whatever 6G or 7G or 10G facility, because a lot of limitations are there for communicating. We may be able to transfer the information related to audio or video, but there are many more information that are yet to be transferred through the wires or with a wireless technology. It is a challenge in front of you whether the future electronics engineers or computer engineers can togetherly think of to certain things which we are unable to communicate through the telephone lines or through the bandwidth, whatever it is being provided to the transmission lines. Can in the future such communications are possible? For example, if a beautiful lady is moving in front of you with Mysuru Mallige in her head, for example, you may be able to see the beautiful scene, but you will not be able to go for that beautiful smell. That is the problem in the communication. That smell cannot be transferred today. It's my appeal to all the young engineers. Can you think of, can we transfer even that also, so that it is a complete communication? Today, with the use of artificial intelligence, even thought to text ideas are coming. Human thoughts are transformed into text. Voice to text and various other things we have heard. In the recent India AI Summit, thought to text concepts are being displayed in that summit. So this is the era of innovations. All young minds can think of in these lines, so that the future communication will be more enjoyable and more informative. I wish all the best for all of you. I pray Lord Shanbaswa to shower all the choicest blessings on you, so that these 2 days will be more enjoyable. Lot of experts are available. Utilize the breaks, tea breaks, lunch breaks, and other breaks. They are available. They will be available in the campus. Interact with them. Ask your curious questions without bothering what type of question you are asking to them. Have an interaction with them, that is more important. And when you are attending a session, particularly whatever session it is, if anything comes in your mind, don't feel bad to ask such questions. We don't know what type of question will open up in a new area of research. I hope you all make it more meaningful through your active participation. With this, let me conclude. I'm thankful for the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, both appoint Godutai faculties for organizing this, for inviting me, and for allowing me to share a few thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. May I now invite Dr. Sujata Mallapure ma'am, Dean of Research and Conference Co-Chair, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected His Holiness Vidya Bandari Lingaika Puja Dr. Appaji, Puja Matrushri Dr. Awaji, Puja Dadapa S. Appaji, distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, invited keynote speakers, delegates, authors, session chairs, faculty members, researchers, students, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of Shanbaswa University and organizing team of Third IEEE International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication System, it's my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First and foremost, we offer our humble gratitude to His Holiness Vidya Bandari Lingaika Puja Dr. Appaji, Founder Chancellor, Shanbaswa University Kalaburgi, for his divine blessings and constant guidance which continue to inspire us in all our academic endeavors. We express our deep sense of respect and thanks to the Puja Matoshri Dr. Awaji, Honorable Chancellor, Shanbaswa University, for her visionary leadership, encouragement, has added immense strength to this event. Our thanks to Puja Dodappa S. Appaji for his blessings. We are highly grateful to our Honorable Secretary, Sir, Shri Basavaraj Deshmukh, Sir, for formally inaugurating this conference and for his motivating words. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to express our profound gratitude to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Anil Kumar G. Bidve, sir, for presiding over this function and for his continuous encouragement. Thank you, sir. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the Chief Guest, Dr. Shubhangi DC Madam, and Chief Guest of Honor, Dr. Hemlata KL Madam, for gracing this occasion and sharing their valuable insights. Thank you, Madam. Our special thanks to the distinguished keynote speakers, Dr. Rodolfo Olaveria, Senior Researchers, and Chair IEEE Portugal Section. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank Dr. Dinesh Singh, Assistant Professor, School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi. Thank you, sir. We sincerely acknowledge the support of IEEE Bangalore section and IEEE NKSS for being the technical co-sponsor for this conference. Many sincere thanks to the Dr. B.D. Maitri, sir, Registrar Dr. Lakshmi Patil Maka, Madam, Registrar Evaluation Dr. S.H. Honnali, sir, Finance Officer and Finance Chair of this conference, Dr. Kiran Maka, sir, Conference Chair and Dean of the University, Dr. Shivkumar Javalgi, sir, and all the members of organizing committee and various subcommittees for their meticulous planning, academic commitment, and tireless efforts in organizing this event, this prestigious event. Thank you. I also extend thanks to all the authors, session chairs, reviewers, delegates, faculty members, research scholars, students, volunteers, and technical and support teams whose dedicated contribution ensured the smooth and successful conduct of this inaugural ceremony. Finally, we thank the media, technical team, and everyone who worked behind the scene for this smooth conduction of this inaugural function. With this, I once again thank each and every one of you for gracing this presence and support. Thank you all. Thank you.
With this, we conclude the inaugural ceremony of 3rd IEEE International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems. Let us continue the sessions with the enthusiasm and intellectual curiosity and collaborative spirit. Thank you all for this, making this event as a productive. And I thank all the amazing individuals who have gathered here. Thank you, one and all.
go there. 2 minutes.
Left side. This left side. Left side, left side.
Left. Oh, it's like this. Yeah.
You press button. Single press.
2 minutes.
Yes.
Single press. And long press up. Long press.
Okay.
Single press.
Single press.
On.
Yes.
On.
Yes.
Long press.
Thank you. Thank you.
So just 2 minutes. Hello. It's my honor to introduce Dr. Rodolfo Oliveira, sir. Sir is an associate professor with a habilitation in electrical and computer engineering at Nova School of Science and Technology and a senior researcher at the Institute of D Telecommunication, Lisbon. Sir work focuses on wireless and mobile communications, stochastic modeling, and the design and the performance analysis of next generation network architecture. He is currently the director of the Integrated Master in Electrical and Computer Engineering and the Bachelor in Communication and Information Engineering at NovaFab. Sir held visiting research and teaching positions at the University of Thessaloniki, Greece, and Carnegie Mellon University and the Technical University of Berlin. Sir has been actively involved in several nationally and European funded research projects and has supervised more than 60 MSc and PhD students. His research output includes over 200 peer-reviewed publications. He serves on the editorial boards of several journals, including IEEE Open Journal of the Communication Society, IEEE Communications Letters, and Ad Hoc Networks. Since 2020, Sir has been an active member of the IEEE Portugal section, serving in various leadership roles, including section chair. Sir is currently chair of the IEEE Region 8 Ad Hoc Committee on Flagship and Portfolio Conference. We are very glad to have you, sir. I request Sir to start the session.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here presenting you this or giving you, delivering this keynote today. Once again, congratulations to the local organizers and all the organization of the third International Conference on Integrated Intelligence and Communication Systems. So the title of my keynote is The Sixth Sense of Wireless Communications, AI-driven cognitive radio frequency systems for context-aware intelligence. So this conference is about AI, computer science, and communications, and I believe at the end of my keynote you will see a good example of what's going on today, particularly about this sixth sense of wireless. So just to give you a few notes, I came from Lisbon, around 9,000 kilometers away. I'm professor at Nova University in Lisbon. Just to give a brief picture of our campus, located less than 2 kilometers away from the Atlantic coast. So let's now talk a little bit about the sixth sense. So, as you know, in radio frequency systems, there are basically some problems with license bands because these bands are in some cases overused. So the bands are overused because most of the times even they are not used, but because we need to guarantee certain quality of service and usage for specific radio systems. You know that the bands are licensed, so this means that at the end of the day, users can use it in a licensed way. So cognitive radio wants to solve this because when you look to the, for example, to the assignment of the different bands in the United States, and maybe you have observed this figure before, it's really well regulated system where the multiple bands can be assigned. But at the end of the day, some of these bands are even underused. But we can allocate it to other radio systems because they are licensed and users there needs to have certain guarantees of usage. So this is where cognition comes into. And several years ago, more than 10 years ago, there was this kind of innovation about cognitive radio, which I give you here a brief definition. So cognitive radio aims at optimizing the utilization of these bands of the radio spectrum through dynamic spectrum access. So this means that we can have this kind of cognition and move to other bands or use bands that were initially allocated to licensed users in a more flexible way. Let me give you one idea. So we have here a tower, a communication transmitter here, and this is a licensed receiver, for example. And we have here a primary user, which is a licensed transmitter. So usually in these bands, the transmitter transmits to the receiver with all guarantees because these bands are licensed and previously allocated to these users. This is the case, for example, nowadays with 5G, 4G, and all these licensed systems. But these two users, we call them primary users. Why? Because they were licensed to use these bands. So this is the concept of incumbent user, where we have the primary users using the bands as licensed by the regulators. The idea of cognitive radio is now to have these two nodes on the right, where we can have the transmitter and the receiver, and they can use the spectrum in a more opportunistic way. But if they use the spectrum at the same time, this means that they will cause interference, represented by this red line, and they will interfere and destroy the communications being held by primary users. Or, in other way, the licensed users that have paid for the band. So this is more or less the concept of cognitive radio, where we want to have the non-licensed users, the secondary users, to use the spectrum in a more flexible way. How can they use the spectrum? Basically, having these three operation modes, what is called underlay, overlay, and interleave. The concept in underlay is to have these blue blocks. The primary user transmitter on the left, and the primary user transmit receiver on the right. So this means that usually these blue blocks communicate with each other, but we can now have, for example, in this case, three secondary user transmitters, which are the cognitive radios. And in this case, if they transmit, they will cause interference to the receiver. So the idea of underlay is to have them transmitting, but limiting the interference to a certain level, and this level should be below the noise floor power. So this means that in underlay they can communicate, the secondary users, even not paying for the band, if certain condition occurs. In this case, operating in this interference level, because here we have the noise floor which needs to be fulfilled as a constraint. So in the other scheme, we have the overlay, not the underlay. In overlay, what we have as a novelty here is that the primary users can make available a link, this green link, informing the non-licensed users about certain conditions. And these secondary users can then use this information in order to relate their access. So by using coding or by using the packet structure, these users can basically adapt their own transmission in order to not cause interference to the primary user receiver, or at least mitigate, decrease this level of interference. So last example or operation mode is interleave. And this is where I want to focus, because in this case we really have cognition. And what cognition means that, well, we have the radio environment, and effectively through the radio environment we can have devices that just sense the spectrum. This means sensing. Sensing means if the spectrum is idle, not being used, this means that these users, the cognitive radios, can have the spectrum access decision. And basically they can transmit because the spectrum was previously detected as being idle. So, but if when performing the spectrum sensing, they detect some primary users, this means that the secondary users, the cognitive radio, must move to other bands. And this is why I mentioned here the spectrum mobility. They need to move. So this is the main concept of cognition, because they can basically operate in a certain level of cognition by sensing the radio channel and then deciding accordingly. So what we can summarize a cognitive radio, and this for me is the basis of all sensing that we observe today. Although today is very common to have joint communication and sensing, but that's another story that I will focus. For now, let's focus on this cognitive radio regime, which is basically something where we can have built a knowledge base about the region that we sense. We can reasoning as well and learning, and then this means deciding and using the spectrum in a more efficient way. What is in the root of this, from my perspective, are some innovations in terms of the devices that we use. So just to give you an idea, since 2011, 10, 11, there was really a huge effort bringing new devices called software-defined radio. So these are in the root of the cognitive radios. What is a software-defined radio? It's a communication system where the components of a radio are usually implemented through electronics are now implemented through signal processing blocks and can be implemented through software. So what is the main advantage here? It's the improved flexibility. Think about the satellite. If we ship the satellite or launch the satellite with electronics, this means that the radius cannot change over time, right? But if we launch the satellites with the software-defined radius, this means that even we can change the radio technology, because this is about uploading software to the satellite, and at the end of the day, we completely change the radio system in the satellite after launching. So this means that basically we can turn the things more flexible. Regarding flexibility, what is the software-defined radio? I can ideally think about two different paths. One receive signal path with a given analog digital converter, and one transmitting path where I have the transmitting antenna, and a digital analog converter. And here I have a personal computer, an FPGA, something that can compute the samples I gather from the specific bands. So just to give you an idea for those who never observed these devices, this, for example, a picture or a very typical software-defined radio, where we have here a transmit and the receiving antenna. In this case, only one. We can have multiple transmitting and receiving antennas, and usually we have a cable or Ethernet cable, in this case USB, to connect it to a personal computer. There are a huge list of devices now available, so this means that you can easily do experimentation. And well, let's now focus. We have the concepts of cognitive radio. So we have already cognition from the radio side. So what about the applications? And my presentation, the title was about the sixth sense, and I will just summarize, for example, two different applications. The first one is in aerospace applications, and you can easily see the goals and the advantage. So cognitive radios can be used for several tasks, from avionics security to unmanned aerial systems, to air communications, to air to ground communications, in satellite communication systems, or for example, in-flight infotainment systems. I'm focused here in aerospace, and I will just, for example, explain why. Because, for example, in aerospace systems now we really have this kind of UAVs that are everywhere, and one of the things that we didn't solve yet is the capability of sensing them in advance. So this is really very important for the near future. And just to give you an idea of the additional things, in civilian aeronautical systems, we really have lots of frequencies being used by different systems, like air-to-ground communications, like UAVs, links for defense, like approach systems, radio systems for the civil aircrafts. Let me just focus on the VHF band. So VHF is usually utilized to support air-to-ground communications. When we look to air-to-ground communications of aerospace applications, this means that we can, for example, provide an example for air-ground communications, where we can, for example, observe these in the different stage of a commercial flight. So when the aircraft is here on the ground, we can use very high frequency bands in line of sight or non-line of sight. Usually when taking off or taxiing, we are using VHF again in line of sight. VHF is also used en route in line of sight. When we don't have line of sight, for sure, we need to use satellites to reach the ground. And once again, landing and taxi, usually we approach the airport, so we are in line of sight with the receiving antennas on the ground. So why I'm providing this example? Because VHF in some parts of the globe is really very, very, very critical. More than 90% of the spectrum usage in these areas. So this is where, for example, cognitive radios can be advantaged. Why? Because, for example, we can think about aircrafts that are equipped with secondary users that primarily sense that regions, and they learn about typical patterns of usage in that specific regions. So they can inform knowledge bases, and these knowledge bases can be further used by spectrum brokers in order to inform the aircrafts, and where they are flying over certain regions, this means that they can adapt the communications in order to be more flexible in terms of the spectrum usage, and in this way decrease the over-utilization of these bands. So this is, for example, a simple example where sensing and cognition and cognitive radios can help aerospace applications. But is it a single example about communications and the links? But for example, as I mentioned before, in UAV, this is really very important as well, because we can have dynamic spectrum access backhauling, having UAVs equipped with multiple links to protect important communications, but also to turn robust radio links falling, making or improving the reliability through different links, and not less important, dealing with radio jamming avoidance. Because radio jamming is usually one of the favorite tools nowadays we have to disrupt AUVs. We can pollute specific bands, but this once again needs permission because I have the AUV, I need to understand what bands the AUV is using in that specific time period, and then I can just transmit polluted signals in specific bands or in specific times so that I can completely damage the communications. So now I will talk about a different aspect of cognitive radio. Maybe 10 years, 5 years ago, the Commission was completely centered on communications, and this was my first part of the presentation. And the next 10 minutes, I will now address a topic that is supported by cognition as well, but the application is a little slightly different. So this is about passive sensing. As you know, in 6G, I believe we really have available powerful sensing. So this means that I can perfectly sense people on the streets, on their own apartments, just using the network, okay? So this is not the future, is being correctly designed, is being correctly demonstrated. What is that specific technical feature is that basically we design the waveforms in order to communicate and sense, okay? So it's not disruptive anymore, it's almost done. Now, I believe in the next 5 years, we'll have technology available commercially to implement this. What I want to focus here is a different thing. What is a different thing? We don't have antennas from 6G, but we have several antennas around. I mean, digital television, TV broadcasting, radio broadcasting, satellite communications, even 4G, 5G, and all different kind of antennas. So why not to use that specific signals of interest? Because they are robust, they are already there. We don't need to implement new antennas to try to have cognition and to use signal processing, AI, and these advanced software-defined radios in order to deal with. So just to give you an idea, the idea here is not new, but new advances in terms of signal processing effectively are. So passive sensing starts with what we call illuminator. This antenna here on the left. Illuminator is a transmitting system that usually has a different purpose, but is there, and we can use it as a transmitter. And the transmitter usually feeds what we call a reference antenna here, which receives the signal in line of sight. Additionally, we have a surveillance antenna, which not only receives the signal in direct path, I mean line of sight, but the signal being illuminated is also reflected by a target. So this means at the end of the day, the surveillance antenna can receive both signals, the one in line of sight here, and the one in non-line of sight being reflected by the target. So this was the basic idea of radars introduced in the Second World War, because at the beginning, the illuminator was a transmitter, and the enemy knows that, or knew that destroying the transmitter, it can destroy the sensing, So then people start to use these illuminators in a different location. But the illuminators were built in that purpose. What I mean here now in terms of innovation is that this illuminator is not an implemented system per se, but a system that already exists. And we want to explore it for sensing. So to conclude my keynote, I will provide you an example of this specific system where we have two directional antennas. This is a photo of some prototype device we constructed in our lab with two software-defined radios that we have here. And what we want to have here as an application is, for example, the idea of having two devices which are only hearing. So these are receivers, and this basically was implemented. I will show you a video in frequency modulation bands. So this means that you can use, for example, two radios for your own car and have these radios in the room. And what I want to do with these two radios is to have a kind of two radio frequency hearings in order to detect what is the human posture someone is in the room at a specific moment and in real time. So this means that we can use almost the same concept. What is the challenge, and very big challenge here, is that we are indoor. And indoor, when we revisit this example here, this means that indoor I don't have direct paths, right? So I don't have line of sight. So this is really tricky because this means that in terms of signal processing, it's really very hard to deal with this, okay? So, and at the same time, the illuminator here is a broadcast FEM antenna that we have spread around, okay? So I don't care about the illuminator. The illuminator is there. I just want to use the signals. So now suppose you only need to have these two hearings, two radios, two receiving radios in your room to try to implement this idea, which is really very powerful, right? Because we don't have cameras, we don't have any other kind of support. So this is what I mentioned with the sixth sense sensing. Just to give you an idea, we have once again a proof of concept with a reference antenna in this tripod here and a surveillance antenna here. We have here the radio, the two software radio devices that are sampling and gathering samples from the environment. I will just show you a video that was basically to give you a notion of this prototype. And this was built by, in the scope of some PhD works and master thesis. In this case, it was a master thesis. Just demonstrating the concept, we have here the reference antenna pointed to the illuminator, and this one is the surveillance antenna, and this is a setup, a basic setup. A particular minor detail, both software-defined radios are synchronized, so they are sampling from both antennas at the same time. This is a need because we are sampling both antennas at the same time. And the idea here is to have initial calibration where someone just teach the system about the upright position. In this case, our former master student, João. João is now teaching the system, saying that now he is seated, and then he moves further away, not being in the seat. So what we call nobody is in the room in the figure sense. So we implemented this with this signal processing, in this case in real time with some Python examples, Python software, and you can basically have here a real-time operation of this context awareness, the sixth sense. So João is seated, and you can observe the outcome sitting in the system. So now I believe João will stand up, and the system will show standing, now known, because João jumped away from the antennas. entrance to the space it rained is standing again, and I believe now maybe you will sit. Yeah, that's true. So this is a real-time experience where you can basically have notion about what we are capable to do today. Having these two hearings without video and detecting. So this particular program was funded by the Portuguese government and European funds. And just to conclude my talk, what we have here, basically we have a block where we can sample and we can gather complex samples, IQ samples from the sensing system, I mean the software-defined array. We have here a stage of calibration. After the calibration, we just have a server that collects 60,000 samples per second from both antennas times 2, and it basically feeds a chain of real-time signal processing. And with this chain, we are finally do the classification about the cluster we have in the room. And I believe you have observed a similar figure to this one. This is about classification. So this means that the blue points are standing when João was standing. The red ones are about sitting, and the green ones sitting, and the red ones is where João moves further away from the radio system. So this means that, well, we face several problems because even this kind of clusters is completely changing over time, depending on the features that we use. But at the end of the day, we are able to classify them. So what are the challenges here? This is done, so this is the past. But we have here basically 3 classes. So this means that we have in the lab now demos with more classes, but we are trying to have specific models now about human motion and try to correlate it with this data. So I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. If you have any questions or any point, we are even receiving international students at Nova University in Lisbon. You have my email here, so just contact me and well, maybe we can meet together in another place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Questions from the council.
Yeah, it's on. Sir, you just enlighten us, like share some ideas on, is it possible that whatever calibration data you have gathered, are there chances of having the illegal data access, data security issues by data breaching? So what are the possibilities of that? Have you considered those aspects in your work, or that's for further?
That's really very good question. Thank you. Effectively, I believe we are opening here a new legal aspect of sensing, right? Because effectively we are not transmitting anything, which is completely different from 6G will be. We are just having these passive sensing techniques, and you are right. Maybe in the next features we are, the next feature we will have, I believe, policies or at least laws that will regulate this, because this is completely under-regulated nowadays. So just to give you an idea, we are now trying to get some funding with some teams in law and public policies in order to study this specific kind of systems, because maybe in some situations, privacy aspects for sure we are regulating them. Because, suppose, for example, this is so simple as having 2 smartphones. If I have smartphones, I have computation. Smartphones have radios, so this means that they just can hear from the radio environment, or sampling them, or sample them, and then compute and have all this data, even without video, without nothing. So this means at least privacy issues is really an important topic. But I believe even in that specific field of privacy, we really need to innovate because it's a new area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from the participants?
Good afternoon, sir. I have a doubt regarding prototyping of a MIMO system using a SDR. As it is having two receiver and transmitter, how do we configure the same antenna for transmission and reception for duplex communication?
Now here we don't have transmitters. In this case, we only have two chains of receivers, and they are receiving signals from the FEM band, a commercial radio system that you can tune in your car, right? So we have these two receivers of FEM radios. Even we select the station, okay? And then we sample a specific subband within that radio station, and this subband is enough to have this kind of sensing, let's say. So this means that we don't use full duplex. We have two independent radios that are like units. They are just receiving signal that is being illuminated by someone that we can use. And this is really an important question because I didn't mention in my presentation. This is really even important for the military people now. And why? Because when you destroy everything, you still do have, for example, satellites. Maybe you still do have some 5G or 4G on the ground. So this means that I can use, usually people call them signals of opportunity, because you don't have any other transmitter, but maybe you have signals around you in different bands. So the idea is exactly that. Let's use that specific transmitters that I don't control in order to illuminate my scenario, and take advantage of that by having multiple receivers and by computing or applying some spatial signal processing, because the antennas are spatially distributed, I can have additional information about the context and the scenario. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now we have a lunch break.